Hey, how you doing? It's me, Clanky Gamer. Again, I know it's been years since I've last uploaded, but I feel like I should probably start uploading again. And what good way to start off then? Space Marine 2. Probably one of my most favorite games at the moment. I've put in quite a lot of hours into it. I've literally customized every single class, and today is going to be a more or less tier list of the classes, like mainly of which of the 7 classes, from Tactical all the way to Tech Marine, the latest one, is good for a beginner to start off if you are new to the game. So, as I said, it's going to be a tier list, and it's going to be something like this. Again, top tier, again, it's going to be great for beginners. Again, it's open to new players, it's good for veteran players, like, it's just a good class all around to start off with. Alright for beginners, beginners can pick it up, but it's a little bit harder to get the hand of, because there's a few mechanics you have to get a hold of, or there's just some responsibilities you have to again get a hold of early. I will go into more detail on that on a specific class, but alright for beginners. Again, there's a bit of work to it, but a beginner could pick it up and still be fine with it. Again, even though Tech Marine is not on this tier list, I will still put it on a tier list and tell you and say and explain my reasonings why. And not for beginners is like the class is either too hard, or like it's too mechanically difficult for a beginner to get the hold of, or it's too restrictive for a beginner to start off with. Okay, and to start off the tier list, we're gonna go off with our boy the Tactical, the first class from the 7. Now, Tactical, I would say, is easy, great for beginners. I would say Tactical is one of the best classes to start off for a beginner, because for one, Tactical has the most primary weapons to start off with. Again, you got all these different primary weapons to start off with, so you have a lot to customize with. Again, you've got the Pyro Blaster, which is just a flamethrower for real close quarters. You got the Melter Rifle, again, also close quarters, but a bit more, again, a bit more like single target, single shot damage, while, again, Pyro Blaster is a flamethrower, and a bunch of other bold rifle variants. Again, you got the Stalker one for more of like a sniper-like play style, and you got like the Auto Bolt and the Heavy Bolt rifle for full-on machine gun style. Even though, Tactical has a lot of good primary options to start off with, and those some primary options actually have some good heroic options. Again, heroic weapons are literally just these weapons, but with a extra tier to it, heroic tier. And heroic tier, it gives these weapons an extra ability. For example, this heavy bolt, the heroic heavy bolt rifle. This bolt rifle allows it to have, again, a grenade launcher equipped, which is, again, this weird barrel thing at the bottom. And again, this is really good, which is why I would say the heavy bolt rifle heroic variant is probably one of the best ones to get, especially early on, and especially on Tactical. Again, Tactical, he's more of a ranged class, so again, that's why you have a lot more ranged weapon variants, and not many secondary or even melee options. But that doesn't mean he's stuck on those. He still has some good melees, especially with, again, the Arch and Edge, the heroic combat knife, the Arch and Edge, and the heroic chainsword, which are, again, really good damage dealers. And even with the secondaries of the heroic bolt pistol, which 3-round burst is really good. The Retribution's Bequest for the heavy bolt pistol, and plasma pistol is just good in general. So yeah, in terms of weaponry, Tactical to start off is a lot more open and for players to start off with. And his ability, the Auspex Scan, is just good to have all around, because again, as it says, reveals enemies in a selected area and makes them more vulnerable to damage. So pretty much, any enemies that is in the scan area deals a lot more damage. And with perks, his perk tree is honestly not too bad, not too hard. Again, you got these perks like Hardened Vigor. Again, you do more melee and gunstrike damage, and I'll talk about gunstrike a bit later. But again, you can't be knocked back, you can't take heavy hits and all that, which is really good. Again, he has a lot of perks that help him, again, gain more grenades and stuff, so like Secure Stockpile, which is a really good perk to have. Another perk, Emperor's Vengeance, to have for more ammo. For ammo regen, which is always good on Tactical since you choose through ammo a lot. And then just other perks that pretty much up his DPS. DPS and his ammo regeneration. The only downside is he doesn't have a lot of survivability in his overall core perk tree. You have to rely on your prestige perks, which, again, once you get to level 25, you can reset, hit your class all the way back to level 1, but gain a prestige perk. Now, again, these are the perks for tactical. Pause if you want to have a look at some of them. But from here, this is the only time where you can get some form of survivability with tactical, which it should be the main case if you want to really get stuff done with tactical and not die. But it's not bad though. Again, resilience really good with medication restoring 40% more health. Really good even on the higher difficulties where stim shots actually restore less health overall. And fortitude health increased by 50% is always a must take. Because with fortitude it actually pairs well with stims, because stims restore health based on a percentage, not by a fixed value. So if your health increases by 15%, by that logic, stims restore 15% more health. So fortitude, always a good perk to have, but since you need to be prestige level 2, you need to get one of these 3 first. And I would say acuity is a good perk to start off with. Consecutive headshots, especially with some of the auto bolt rifle weapons, 3 to 15% more damage really adds up. So you'll be doing a lot more damage if you consistently hit those headshots. And then once you get to Prestige 2, you can get Resilience and Fortitude. So Tactical is very forgiving once you get him leveled up, even as a new player, despite the lack of survivability right off the bat. So yeah, I would say he's a really, really comfy comfy top of the class for being great for beginners. Now the next class, Assault. Absolutely not. Assault is not good for beginners whatsoever. Because with Assault, he has the same problem as Tactical in the sense he doesn't really have a much survivability that is forgiving for new players. Again, you do have defense mechanism which contestant health, fades 50% more slowly. Which, if you know the idea of contested health, it's the white bar in your health bar after you get damaged. If you do enough damage, you can regain that health, and this makes it that it fades 50% more slowly, which is really the only reason why Assault really is like bottom of the barrel in terms of actual pick rates. I don't remember the pick rates, but without this, he would not be friendly for any type of player, whether beginner, moderate, or even veterans, because this is literally one of his saving grace perks, at least in my opinion. Armor reinforcement is also good. Again, non-finisher gun strikes restore 1 armor segment. Now here is where I talk about gun strikes. When you perfectly parry an enemy, or perfectly dodge an enemy, you have the opportunity to perform a gun strike, which is again just a one hit strike with your secondary that deals a significant amount of damage. If it's done on an enemy that won't die, it will just, again, deal a hefty bit of damage and give you nothing. But with this perk, you get armor from it. So anyway, whenever you, again, do a perfect dodge or a perfect parry on an enemy, and you're given the option to gun strike, you'll deal significant damage to them but not kill them, but you'll still get some armor back. But if you were to do a gun strike on an enemy that would kill them, then yeah, you'll kill them, you get the armor. So again, really good if you really one of the best ways for any Assault player to actually stay on the battlefield without, again, being absolutely butchered. But yeah, Assault, again, is not really forgiving for new players, because again, he does not have access to a primary weapon. As you can see, the primary weapon slot is unavailable. He only has access to a decent amount of secondaries, which is not bad. I'd say, again, heroic bulk pistol, heroic heavy bulk pistol, really good options. Plasma pistol, good in general. Inferno pistols, it's alright, but the gun strike damage is still one of the worst. And Neo Volkite it's alright. Neo Volkite is all good. But still, even though you have a lot of secondary options, that doesn't mean your range damage is going to be good. But he does have a lot of melee options, which is another one of his saving graces. But again, some of his melee options are really damn good. Again, we know about the Chainsword, but then you have 4 others that only he and another class has access to. First was the Thunderhammer. The Thunderhammer, just any variant will do. They're just really really good really good for AoE clearance, and to some extent some single target damage, especially pairing with the jump pack. You get the jump pack, you can again fly yourself in the air and perform a ground pound, where you charge up the melee button in the air and perform a ground pound. Really high damage as long as the target's on the ground, but any flying enemies are screwed. Power Fist, yeah, it's also good, but again, the only downside is that when it comes to, again, blocking, parrying, it's very clunky. Again, hard for new players to get hold of, so again, another reason why I wouldn't recommend Assault. Power Sword, again, just really good in general. I would say it's on par with the Chainsaw, but again, it has a more AoE of how do I say this? It has more play styles than the Chainsaw, since it has access to a power stance or a speed stance. Power stance, it's a lot slower but does more damage, and it's more of a clear AoE clearance, while the speed is, again, faster, does a bit less damage, but it's more single target. Either way is good. So again, Power Sword is really good if you want to change, again, your type of playstyle in Melee. And Power Hacks, again, Power Hacks is just fun in general. So again, really good. Again, Assault, but yeah. As I said, the same problem that Tactical has, the Assault also has, where he has no survivability besides these two perks, which, again, are quite good, but on Assault, it's just really hard to get value from, especially as a new player. And again, your main idea of actually getting some form of survivability is, again, with the prestige perks, and that, again, requires a lot of grinding. But again, Adrenaline Boost, really good, really good, especially for Assault, where, again, after parrying, blocking, or dodging, you do not lose control in heavy hits, and you can't be knocked back. Really damn good, especially after pairing with Gun Strikes. And Fortitude, of course, having a health increase, because you need all the health you can get when it comes to Assault. So again, from that, Assault is not a real beginner-friendly class. Next up is the class I started off with when I'm playing this game, is Vanguard. I would say with Vanguard, I'd say he's in the middle. He's alright for beginners. Like, I'd say I was decent at Vanguard when I started off with it, because I thought, again, the grapple launch is cool, and it is. And what, again, allows you to propel to an enemy and perform a diving kick, which, again, does deal damage, and depending on the perk you choose, can have an AoE effect. Again, performing a finisher with the grapple launcher deals damage to nearby enemies, and diving kick deals damage in a 5-meter radius, which doesn't sound like much, but trust me, it is. Now, one bad thing with Vanguard is that he is the glass cannon of the 7 classes. It's either he's really damn tanky when you can play him, or you're literally getting coughed on and dying immediately. The reason I say that is because his perks are like Conviction. When your armor is fully depleted, you take 25% less health damage for 10 seconds, which is really good, since with Vanguard, you don't have as much armor compared to, again, let's say Assault or Tactical with 3. Vanguard and Sniper have 2 armor class, so they lose armor a lot faster than the other classes do. So having a perk like this is really good to, again, minimize the amount of health damage you take. Again, his other perks as well, again, and such as close combat focus, you take 20% less range damage, hits and such, and perfect, actually no, not that, but yeah, you get what I mean, or even hone reactions. When your health is at 50%, your perfect dodge window is doubled again. He is, again, the glass cannon of the 7 classes. Again, you're able to regen armor a lot faster, but again, if you do lose that armor, you are still tanky as fuck. But again, once you get the hang of his actual mechanics and some of his perks, he is fun. Again, especially with like Tactical Prowess, where you can activate a finisher on enemies that aren't fully incapacitated, which I mean, with enemies that are incapacitated, they are like glowing red with a prompt to execute them. Tactical Prowess, you can bypass that. If they're have at least less than 33% health, you can easily perform a finisher, and you get some armor back. And having armor back on a Tactical Vanguard is really good, because again, you can constantly just again, activate Conviction whenever the hell you want. And especially when you have Launch Restoration, using Grapple Launcher restores one armor segment. So you are constantly getting armor back, and if you do lose it, you have a way to get that armor back, like, while also protecting yourself while you fully lose the armor. Again, it is very... His perk set is and playstyle is very, very complicated at first, but you get used to it overall. And like the tactical, he does have access to a primary weapons, but not as much. And I would say some of them are good, some of them are alright. Again, the heroic Instigator Bolt Carbine, really good for DPS, especially on headshots. Melt Rifle, really good for close quarters combat. Oculus, it's alright, I guess. Again, the only good thing about it is the headshot multiplier, which, again, headshot multipliers are really good, especially if you're really good. And Bolt Carbine, it just has a lot of variance to deal with, so it's alright. But yeah, the only bad, I'd say the only, besides his glass cannon and a perk set, the only bad thing about him is the fact he doesn't really have a lot of ammo regeneration. Like, again, also has good secondaries and a few melee choices, but not much. But yeah, he doesn't have a lot of ammo regeneration, so you need to be careful with your ammo management, no matter whenever you fight, because he's not really he's a melee focused class. Again, if you have some of the perks, upper hand, perfect parry, block, or dodge, you don't control heavy hits, and even some, like melee mastery, melee damage increased by 10% against Majora's and higher level enemies, and even stuff like Duelist, again, all melee focused. He has a lot of melee focused perks. So you need to be confident on being with melee in order to actually play him well. But besides that, but again, he is alright to start off for beginners. I would just say you need to be a bit more cautious with his playstyle. Now, on to the next class, and probably the Space Marine 2 community's most responsibility-heavy class, the Bulwark. I would say he joins the Vanguard in being alright for beginners. Because with Bulwark, again, like the Assault, he does not have access to a primary weapon. He only has access to a secondary and a melee. And similar to Assault with melee, he has nearly pretty much all of them. You get it from Power Axe, Power Sword, Power Fist, and Thunder Hammer, alongside the Chainsword. And again, sort of same idea with secondaries, the Plasma Pistol, Neo Volkite, Heavy Bolt, and Bolt Pistol. Again, but he does have some same grace in terms of survivability with his shield. Again, his shield blocks a lot of ranged attacks, so he's able to take a lot less damage, and he can even block some melee attacks too. So it's good. So it's a good way for him to, again, it's a good survivability method, a lot better than Assault, who is just wide in the open. And especially when you pair it with one of his prestige perks, ability charge is restored by 1% for every blocked range attack, you can see why he's probably really good. But the reason, again, like the Vanguard and actually Assault, they are all melee focused. So you need to be on your melee game and not really focus too much on range damage. And mainly think about your perks and more like, how much melee damage can I do and what should I do. But unlike the Assault, he has a lot of perks that give him a lot of survivability. Again, Conviction, like we have with Vanguard, literally the first perk on the tree. When your armor is fully depleted, 25% less health damage. Really damn good. Also has Scramble Targeting. If surrounded by 5 or more enemies, which, if you're a melee class, you always are surrounded by at least 5 or more enemies. You take 25% less damage from range attacks. You're literally becoming a tank. You're literally becoming a tank on Bulwark with just these 2 perks. And to top it off, Armor Reinforcement. Non-finisher gun strikes restore 1 armor segment. You're a living tank as long as you can pop off with the with those gun strikes. That's not even including his team perks, which also has built-in armor regeneration, or even, like with the Assault, with contestant health fading 50% more slowly for the whole squad. For the whole squad of 3 members. Again, I know 3 members may not be a lot, but trust me, 3 is enough for most situations. And that doesn't mean he doesn't have any offensive perks like Defensive Mastery, a perfectly timed parry or block instantly incapacitates a Majora's or Extremist level enemy with a cooldown of 90 seconds. This is really good, especially for tough extremist level enemies, such as on Chaos side, you have the Terminators, or even on the Tyranid side, where you have the Biovores, and to some extent, the Raveners, and the fucking Lictors, so goddamn annoying. Being able to instantly incapacitate them for an execution is really good. But the reason why I say Bulwark is the most responsibility-heavy class is because of this one perk, Invigorating Icon. As you read it, when the banner is activated, all squad mates members within the banner's radius regain maximum contested health. And if you know the basics of this game, if you do an execution with any contested health left, you will regain that contested health while gaining armor. This perk is the main reason for a long time, and technically still now, Bulwark is the team healer. That's why he's nearly almost a must-have in almost every single lineup, unless you are confident enough in your health management. So yeah, Bulwark has a lot of responsibility as soon as you put this perk on. As soon as you reach level 23 on Bulwark, you are expected, almost 100% of the time, to have this perk and to use it properly. And use it for your team or for yourself whenever the situation arises. So again, he is very heavy with responsibility for the team. So again, I would say that it also discourages, again, some of the new players to not pick him. But once you get the hang of him and actually perform well with the team, he is a godsend. He is probably one of the best characters to carry a team with. Alright, next class is the last class that has 2 armor segments, is the Sniper. And right away, I would say he's not for beginners. Because again, as a Sniper, sure, you are sitting in the back lines and just sniping from afar with weapons such as, again, the Bolt Carbine and Stalker Bolt Rifle Sniper variants. It's also the Bolt Carbine, but also you have like the Lattice Fusel, which is a really good sniper rifle, especially when you hit headshots with like a 2.5 headshot multiplier with a damage of 15, which is really damn good. And especially since you don't really have to reload this thing, you literally just have to charge it up. But then you have again the Bolt Sniper rifle, which still needs to again reload as normal. Doesn't have much ammo, has a 10 times headshot multiplier for the firepower of 6, so technically 60 damage. But since again it's a heroic variant, every time you hit a headshot, you get ammo back. Really one of the best weapons in the game for sustained DPS. But again, the only problem is it's on a class where it requires you to have good aim. And in the game mode where you're literally being hit from every single angle, or from enemy, even across the bloody map, your aim's always going to be staggered to the point where you can barely hit those headshots. So you need to have a real nerves of steel to actually hit those heads. And even if you do hit the heads on some of the fucking enemies, some of the bloody enemies, sometimes it just doesn't register their head as being hit because of the stupid bloody hitboxes of these things. Mainly these bloody Chaos Swans. One of the newest enemies that were added to the game, and especially mainly with this variant, even though you can sort of see where the head would be, sometimes the game doesn't register it as a headshot, even though you hit them right in the head. It is ridiculous. It is bloody ridiculous. And even with just things with Chaos in general, the head is bloody tiny compared to the whole body. Compared to the body, where you have the Tyranids, where their heads are bloody massive and easier to hit. Literally, look at this. Big head, literal giant head here, a tiny one here, but you're not really trying to snipe with this. And look at the jiggle physics on this thing. But yeah, you're not really going for headshots with this guy. But for nearly every single Majoris level or higher Tyranid, the head is bloody massive. So it's easy to hit headshots at them and get immense damage on them. So with Sniper, you're literally nerfed. If you want to get some good headshots, you're literally nerfed to playing one faction the entire game, and if you want to start off as a new player. And then again, he has a few good secondary weapon variants, which again, not bad, but again, Inferno Pistols, not really good, even for its own crowd control, again, not really that good. And he only has access to the combat knife for his melee, which again, is very, very restrictive. and the fact that he is a ranged class, so you don't really have a lot of melee opportunities. And his cloak, it's really good. It's really good, again, self survival, and again, for self sustainability, especially with purification. Manually activating the camo cloak removes negative status effects, which include, again, toxin poisoning or corruption, depending on the faction, and restores all contested health. Really damn good, but again, the camo cloak is not the only thing. It's not supposed to always heal you. It's supposed to, again, help you revive your teammates, especially with Medicaid Adept or even with Guardian Protocol. Your main idea is mainly to be a support, a long-range damage dealer, while also being a close-range support when your team needs it. And I would say this is not for a new player, especially when you want to go ripping, tearing, bloody bugs or heretical scum on the battlefield. You're not really going to be looking out for your teammates, are you? So, Sniper is really just off the table for you, mainly because of that playstyle. Alright, on to the next class is Heavy. And Heavy, I can say without a doubt, definitely great for beginners. He is just that much of a simple class. Again, like Tactical, he is a Tactical, and the Sniper, he is a range class, but again, he has access to a lot of primary weapons that only he can use. The only exception is the Heavy Bolt Rifle. But again, all these primary weapons are really damn good. Again, Pyre Cannon, again, similar to the Pyre Blaster, is just a literal flamethrower, always fun. Multi-Melter, really good one-shot damage, one-shotting range up close. The Heavy Plasma Incinerator, even without the heroic version, is really good. Long-range damage, splash damage, is really good, especially with the charge up. With the charge up attack, you can deal more damage and have a bigger radius to deal damage with. Heavy Bolter, honestly, may seem him underwhelming at first, but the fact that this is technically the only weapon to actually increases damage while you're firing it. Again, fully automatic heavy weapon, fire rate accelerates over time, and that fire rate, literally, a faster fire rate means faster damage, faster DPS, or like high DPS, more shots hitting. So, really damn good, especially with the heroic variant, where every time you parry with this thing, you reset your, again, overheat mechanic. Again, I'm just hoping that as you're a new player, even though you're a new player, you know some of the basic mechanics of these weapons. So you know the overheat mechanic on a Heavy is based on if you fire the weapon too long, it goes into a cooldown period where, again, this venting speed takes into account time required to cool down the heated weapon. So I'm just assuming you know what the hell that means. So yeah. Again, Heavy does not have any access to melee options, which may be a bit of a turn-off at first, but if you are literally being a DPS monster and keeping enemies away from you, that should not be a problem whatsoever. Again, he has access to some of the best secondary weapon options. Again, Heavy Bolt Pistol, Normal Bolt Pistol, Plasma Pistol, and the sort of Inferno Pistol, but again, I don't really want to talk about that. And his perks, again, a few perks are based on survivability, especially with, again, Fortitude, a 30% health increase. Any form of health increase is really good for Heavy, and even there are even perks that allow him to get more ammunition when he needs it, and even help some squad members, again, such as Overwhelming Power. When the Iron Halo is active, which is like a small force field that pops up in front of you, all squad members within 10 meters of it deal with 10% more range damage. So yeah, the Heavy class is sort of a team player without needing to be a team player directly. Again, other perks as well to help him, like, make his shield a bit more effective, either lasting longer or giving you some buffs and effects when you're not using it. And even when you go to the prestige perks, auxiliary reload, melee kills of extremist level or higher enemies, so when you execute any extremist or terminus level enemies, you'll just get more ammo back. Again, so yeah, he has built-in ammo regen from his perks and his prestige perks. He's just a really good class for a new player to pick up, and he's not even that mechanically hard. He's probably mechanically one of the easiest classes to play. So yeah, really good class to have, really good class to take care of. Now onto the final class, which is Techmarine. Even though there is no Techmarine icon for this on this tier list, I would still say he is good and alright for beginners. I would say he's good and alright for beginners. Main reason is, with Techmarine, I would say he's more closely to a tactical in terms of actual gameplay, where he is a ranged class, but he can go into a melee playstyle if you want to. Because again, he does have quite a few melee options, again, with the Argent, with the Combat Knife, Power Sword, Power Axe, and the new Omnissiah Axe, which is honestly really good. A really good melee weapon to try out, though with new players, you might want to be a little bit careful with it, since it can be a little bit clunky here and there. But still, like tactical, he has access to a reasonably wide range of primary weapons, so you do have a bit of choice there. And similar again with secondaries, you have quite a lot of secondaries to go through with. Again, his main idea again has this servo gun, which again, if you know what a Techmarine does, it has this modified power pack, which has a lot of like servo arms and stuff like that, and even this servo mounted gun right here. Again, you can use it to unleash a powerful servo gun volley targeting all enemies in sight. It's good that his perk tree also complements both a ranged playstyle and a melee playstyle, so you can mix and match him as much as you want. Because again, you have perks which just, again, when you use equipment, because again, I would say he's like tactical, since he's all about mainly just using a lot of grenades to literally boost his damage. You can even customize the actual gun itself to be more precision focused, so again, single target damage that does more single target damage that does more damage, but there's less shots, or even a more AoE based damage, again with the plasma pistol. And again, but that's all his abilities. He has an ability where, again, he can activate Tarantula Sentry Guns, which are these little sentry guns that appear just around the map when there is one playing. And there are perks that really they don't really incentivize you to use them, but do encourage you to use them when you can, especially with, again, reinforced position. When within 50 meters of an active one, again, you have to activate the sentry gun to get the perk. Like, squad members who's within that range take 25% less damage and deal 50% more damage, which is really damn good. Just the only problem is you need to be close to the sentry gun that is active, and you have to take in mind that even though the sentry gun's active, enemies can still hit you. Or even though they're not targeting you, because the sentry gun takes all the aggro, but doesn't mean that you won't get any residual damage from any, like, again, in AoE attacks that the enemies will have. And furthermore, with the servo gun, you're able to perform gun strike without being stuck in a long animation of your character pulling out their secondary weapon and shooting an enemy in the face. The servo gun, will literally do the gun strikes for you as long as you don't activate it. So again, a really good class to start off with. It's just the thing is, with Techmarine, I would say he's alright for beginners to start off with. Is that there are still, with his introduction of the servo gun, there are a lot of interactions and a lot of gameplay mechanics you have to sort of get used to being changed with him, especially, again, as I said, with the gun strikes, and of course, again, the Omnissiah Axe being a really unique weapon compared to the other melee weapons, where you have a lot of things to do with the Omnissiah Axe, where you have again an AoE attack, while also having a single target attack and a charging attack, which is a lot different to any other charge attacks any other class has. And again, perks are really good. He doesn't have that much survivability, but again, with the servo gun, you're able to regenerate a lot of contested health really damn fast. So there really isn't any need for getting a lot of survivability or giving him any more survivability. But the thing is, I will say the only thing that he does lack in is ammo sustainability or ammo regeneration. Because unlike Tactical, he wasn't blessed with ammo regeneration every time he executes a Majoris. So you need to be more careful with your ammo and be careful not to waste it. So yeah. So that is all the classes in a tier list. Yeah, again, just pretend there's a Techmarine icon next to Bulwark here for alright for beginners. So yeah. So that will be my recommended tier list for any players that are new to Space Marine 2 and want to get straight into the PvE content. What I mean by PvE is, again, as we go here, to the launch bay, any of this stuff, any of the operations where, again, you work with two other players, or if you want to go private, you can go with bots. And just do the mission objectives, go through the missions, and these missions are one of the not the only ways, but one of the best ways to earn XP. Here again, which is this XP icon under rewards. That is the only way to level up your class. I would say these are the best options and to level up. The siege mode is another option where again just endless waves of enemies. He's to fight off against with two other players and earn XP throughout the whole way through. It's not a bad idea, but again I would say siege mode is more of to test your skills and an endless wave than more like earning XP. I would just say that. Stratagems are another way. Again, it's just like the operations, but again, you have a select few sets of operations that have different modifiers. And I will say, if you are going to be using stratagems to level up, avoid doing hard level stratagems, because a recent patch has made sure that hard stratagems do not give you XP. As you can see in the rewards section, there is no icon for XP. While you go to normal, there is the icon for XP. So please, if you are going to be doing stratagems to level up on normal so you actually get XP. Do not do hard stratagems, otherwise players are going to be pissed off at you, and you are definitely going to be yelled at, or probably going to be yelled at, kicked for it, for being a low level. So, because I don't know why this community thinks that, but it's very frowned upon for a low level to join a hard stratagem, thinking they can level up in them when you cannot. So I'd say, for stratagems, if you want to level up in stratagems, go with normal. Don't entirely recommend siege for grinding XP. And for operations, I would say if you want to be grinding XP, again, try and grind at a level that you are comfortable at. Again, if you technically start off doing operations at average, which again is average. There's nothing much to say. Just to say, a really good difficulty to start off with, especially when you get used to the different operations. Just go through with the flow. But once you start leveling up, you can start getting substantial, which again a bit higher than as I said, higher than average, but still nothing too punishing, nothing too unfair. And then you can push yourself up to ruthless if you want. Again, same idea, more XP, but again a bit more challenging. Enemies, I believe. Yeah, enemies have a bit more health, and then you go up to lethal and absolute, which I will recommend. Do not go into these two under-leveled or under-prestiged. I would recommend to do either of these two difficulties. Have it be at least prestige 1, and be confident in your class, because these two difficulties show no mercy and show no restraint when it comes to you making a mistake. If you make a mistake, you're pretty much doomed for the whole run. So you need to be confident in what the hell you're doing. As I said, with absolute 3 extremists spawn simultaneously. Your supply drop is decreased, you get mortal wounds immediately, and ammo cache is limited. So again, if you are leveling up, if you are just leveling up a class for the first time, just stick with average, or just slowly progress up through the levels. Maybe stop at ruthless, or if you want to be if you think you're confident enough, you can try lethal. Just don't try absolute whatsoever. But once you prestige a class, I would say you can choose any difficulty you want to start off. I would say if you're not entirely confident, the maximum difficulty you should be choosing to just level up a class, even not prestiging, is ruthless. But if you are confident in your class after at least 1 prestige, you can try and do some things on lethal, because lethal has a bit more XP gain, and it's technically, by descriptions, it is a bit more forgiving than ruthless, but still the enemies are still hard to deal with. Do not touch absolute whatsoever unless you're really at least one prestige level, and as recommended level 25, so you have all your class perks as an option. And if you do know the mechanics of leveling up your weapons, you can see with different difficulties, there's different armory data of rarities. So from minimal to average, you get this green this green armory data. Again, this for mastercrafted. For mastercrafted rarity weapons, essentially your weapons start from stock standard, which is just the grey stuff, then to green, which is mastercrafted, unlocking new variants. Then you go to substantial with the purple artificer, and then from ruthless and above, you just get the yellow relic armory data. Again, you find these either on server skulls you find throughout the level, or if you find any terminus level enemies, you will earn 1 armory data as well. Again, there are also gene seed locations as well in these levels, but I will not get into them into this video. I might do a separate video showing gene seed locations in all the different operations if you want to. But again, that's up to you if you want it. There are other videos that do it as well, and probably will do it better than me. There will also show other locations of other things too, like Guardian Relics, and of course the armory data. So I might do another video on it if you want to, but I probably won't, knowing my lazy ass. And if you want to get any of the heroic weapons, simply go to this tech priest. Go to this tech priest, which is to the right of the armory hall, and refinement and redemption, and you can purchase the heroic weapons right here using these blue Doritos, as the community calls them, and honestly, it's quite funny, called accolades. Accolades you, of course, earn in the stratagems mode. Whether it be normal or hard, you will always earn a number of accolades. Again, hard stratagems will give you more accolades than normal, especially in the weekly stratagems, where the hard weeklies will always give you 200. The normal weekly stratagems will always give you 150, which is still really good. So I always recommend try and farm as much of these stratagems as you want and confidently can to get the heroic weapons you want. I will do a tier list. I might do a tier list on which heroic weapons to get. So stay tuned for that if you want. But yes, that is Space Marine 2 class beginner friendly classes tier list. Hope you enjoyed. Like the video. Subscribe if you want. Leave a comment if you want, saying whether I'm doing a good job or a bad job. I don't care either way. I know I'm honestly shit at this, but yeah, hope the tier list works, and have a good day. Peace.